Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving right into a completely wild, action-packed excerpt from the Mahabharata, specifically section 28 of the Astakaparva. We're relying entirely on the details from our source text to visualize a scene that is, well, it's equal parts cinematic, awe-inspiring, and honestly, a little bit terrifying.
So imagine you're tasked with the ultimate mythological mission, right? Stealing the Amrita, the literal nectar of immortality. Obviously, you're going to need some serious calories before you go. So what exactly is the pre-quest meal of choice for a giant celestial birdman? Well, the answer pretty much sets the stage for our entire journey today.
All right, Section 1, the pre-quest snack.
Our text opens with our hero, Garuda, having a very clear, very monumental objective. He needs to bring back the Amrita. But, much like anyone going on a massive road trip, he desires to eat something along the way. So he turns to his mother, Vinata, and basically asks for directions to some food. It's a highly relatable premise, right? You're heading out, you need a quick bite. But since we're in the realm of ancient mythology, this everyday request is about to take a massive, dark turn.
And what's just absolutely astonishing here is how casually his mother gives him the green light to consume thousands of human beings. She says, "In a remote region in the midst of the ocean, the Nishadas have their fair home. Having eaten the thousands of Nishadas that live there, bring thou Amrita." I mean, wow. The Nishadas are a community of fishermen, and her instruction is just incredibly blunt. Go there, eat thousands of them, then bring back the Amrita. Thousands of fishermen suggested as just a quick burst of energy, literally a casual appetizer for this magnificent creature.
Which brings us to Section 2, the unbreakable rule.
Now this brilliantly illustrates the rigid cultural hierarchy of the time. On one side of the scale, we have the fate of the Nishadas. According to the text, thousands of them can be eaten without a second thought. They're completely expendable against Garuda's hunger. But on the exact opposite side, we have the Brahmana. Vinata gives him one absolute, unbreakable rule. Of all creatures, a Brahmana must never, under any circumstances, be slain, not even in anger. Our text impartially highlights these extreme boundaries of the ancient social order. The total expendability of one group versus the absolute, untouchable status of another.
And the crucial point here is understanding why they're so untouchable. The text defines a Brahmana in a way that goes way beyond just a social class. They're described as the firstborn master of all creatures. And the imagery used for their wrath, it's staggering. When angry, a Brahmana becomes like fire, or the sun, like poison, or a razor-sharp-edged weapon. Actually, the text explicitly notes that not even the fire god Agni or the sun god Surya can consume as much as an angry Brahmana of rigid vows. We're essentially looking at an apocalyptic force walking around in mortal form.
Moving on to Section 3, identifying a Brahmana.
Faced with that terrifying warning, Garuda logically pauses and asks an incredibly practical question. He says, "O mother, of what form is a Brahmana, of what behavior, and of what prowess? Doth he shine like fire, or is he of tranquil mien?" It's such a great moment. Garuda basically wants to know exactly how to visually ID these highly dangerous individuals so he doesn't accidentally swallow one. Like, is there a glowing aura? Are they super peaceful? How do I spot the landmine in the middle of my meal?
Vinata answers with these incredibly visceral, violent metaphors. She says, "Him shouldst thou know as the best amongst Brahmanas, who having entered thy throat would torture thee as a fishhook or burn thee as blazing charcoal." Simply put, out of pure affection for her son, she clarifies that a good Brahmana simply will not be digested. If you swallow one, you're going to know immediately, because they'll rip up your throat like a fishhook or burn you from the inside out. They are practically indestructible from the inside.
Here is Section 4, a mother's divine blessing.
Knowing the incomparable strength of her son, but also his vulnerability to, say, accidentally eating the wrong person, Vinata builds this perfect schematic of mythological armor. She maps specific gods to his body parts for absolute safety. Marut, the god of the winds, will protect his wings. Surya and Soma are assigned to protect his vertebral regions. Agni, the fire god, protects his head, and the Vasus are called upon to protect his entire body. So now, he is completely divinely shielded.
And that leads us to Section 5, the devouring storm. Fully armored and incredibly hungry, Garuda unleashes a sequence of events that is just immense in scale. The pacing here gets incredibly fast and violent. Step 1, Garuda stretches his wings and ascends into the skies. Step 2, driven by hunger, he falls upon the Nishadas like Yama himself, Yama being the god of death. Step 3, He raises this massive quantity of dust that overspreads the entire firmament, sucking up water from the ocean and physically shaking the trees on the adjacent mountains. And finally, step 4, the Lord of Birds lands and literally obstructs the principal thoroughfares, the main streets of the Nishada town, with his giant mouth, increasing the size of its opening at will.
The resulting chaos is absolute. The Nishadas begin to fly in great haste toward the open mouth of this great serpent eater. The text uses a haunting visual metaphor to describe this. Just as thousands of afflicted birds ascend into the skies when a forest is shaken by a violent windstorm, so too do the Nishadas. Blinded by the massive dust storm Garuda just raised, they simply pour right into the wide extending cleft of his mouth, which is just waiting open to receive them. With absolute swiftness, he snaps his mouth shut, instantly killing innumerable Nishada fishermen. He effortlessly vacuums them up into the dark. Just an unbelievable display of power.
To wrap up this explainer, we want to leave you pondering the grand dynamic presented in this incredible text. When examining these ancient stories, who wields the true power? Is it the magnificent, godlike beast that can shake mountains, swallow oceans, and consume thousands of men in a single breath? Or is it the untouchable mortal Brahmana, whose mere presence and rigid vows act as a blazing fishhook, completely unassailable even to a creature of Garuda's cosmic magnitude? It's a fascinating look at the terrifying scale of mythological power and the strict ancient hierarchies that dictated exactly who lived and who was swallowed whole. Keep that question in mind as you explore more of these incredible ancient texts.